This is me, and welcome to day one of Minecraft Hardcore. This is me, and welcome to Minecraft Survival on the MineGoblin server. What's a MineGoblin? Ask your friends. Now, everything isn't what it seems. This is where we started. We've been playing for months. You haven't seen any of that. This area I like to call the donut hole for obvious reasons. Now, obviously there's a village here. Most of this is gone by now. And as you'll see soon, a lot has changed. And some things have been added, like coordinates, my time, and probably a lot of other vanilla tweaks that may or may not be controversial. I try to keep it as vanilla as possible, but I also want it to be a good time. Also, we're on a realm, so right now the render distance is not great. I plan to at some point change it to a server. Hopefully that will help the render distance issues. But for now, this is what we're stuck with. Hopefully that doesn't matter much because we're surrounded by walls. Now, as for changes that you can see, obviously the village is gone. We've got several tunnels and one that you can't see far off in the distance. I'm trying to work at a bit of a bigger scale, and this kind of sets that precedent. I hope to make these feel kind of grand in the scheme of the size of this village that I want to build, but we'll see how well that works. Also, I have shaders on and it doesn't look the greatest. I'm getting a little bit of artifacting and I'll probably turn those off here soon. Obviously, we've got a beacon. At least I've got a beacon. I believe some of the other players who are on the server have some as well. And an iron farm that has been churning away. Plenty of iron for us. Now, a majority of my building so far has been underground. I've kind of taken over this ravine to house my villagers and a couple of farms, including my pumpkin farm, a melon farm, and so far a very lackluster cactus farm. This is still in progress. We'll make that better soon. As for upstairs, I've got a couple of bubble elevators to go up and down to the mines. These ones to get up and out of the ravine. An automatic super smelter with automatic bamboo fuel, which gets auto-crafted into bamboo slabs. This system is completely fed automatically by here, where I can put items into the super smelter, and then they'll be brought back to here. This is kind of my bedroom area, and kind of the vibe of what I'm hoping to go for with the rest of the village. Kind of a cottage core, overgrown, mossy area. My storage area, not too much to look at there. And then downstairs is deep storage. Again, not too much. We haven't made an absolute ton of progress, but we're getting somewhere. As for here, obviously your typical enchanting setup. Now, down in this area, I've got a farm for both creepers and sugarcane. They're getting kind of full, so I need to expand my storage sooner than later. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are some controversial changes that I made for the realm, and one of which was gravestones. I really don't want to lose all my items when I die in a cave and I can't get there within the 5-minute timer, but I don't want to keep inventory turned on because I think there needs to be at least be some penalty when you die, and I think gravestones is an easy middle ground for that. So a grave is basically just drops on the ground on your death. All your inventory goes into it. You just have to walk up and right click on it, and then you get all your stuff back. Now, another controversial change will probably be I've turned off creeper griefing and enderman griefing. They just tend to make a mess of the place, and it just doesn't add much to the game, but it takes away a lot. So I've turned those off as well. Now, as for some additional changes, this one is mostly visual, but any block with a UI has a bit of a fancier view now. It doesn't add much, it just makes it a little bit nicer to look at. We have also added in mob heads and mini blocks, just for some added things to collect and place around our world. Now, as I mentioned, this is a server, or a realm, and I'm not the only one that's on it. I've got a few other folks that I've been playing with for a while, and you might see them around. Nobody's on currently, but maybe in the future. Now, I don't know what my plan is for this video series. I thought it'd just be nice to maybe document some progress in case more people ended up joining this server and wanted to maybe see where it started from. So here we are, kind of just winging it. After this cactus farm is done, I think the next thing I need to work on is a moss farm, because oh, and that is my child. Yeah, as you can tell, I mean, I do have a kid, and you're probably going to hear things in the background, and I'm not going to worry about restarting a clip every time that the kid makes noise, or you hear Curious George or Sesame Street in the background. Well, welcome to my life. It's not quiet all the time, and I'm not going to stress about it, because I'm here to have fun, and hopefully you're here to have fun watching. If not, well, whatever. Now, the next thing I need to do, like I said, is a moss farm. I need to do that because I plan on using moss and mossy blocks quite often. Um, the village I want to do is kind of going to be like a what is the word for it? Cottage core, I guess, is the way to say it. We'll see how that actually translates. Um, but as for a moss farm, I kind of need to decide where to put it. I'm trying to leave this area in the lower ravine kind of open for farms that are constantly running. I'm not exactly sure where the spawn chunks are, um, but I want these farms down here, like the melon farm, the cactus farm, the pumpkin farm, to be basically constantly running. This moss farm will basically just be running when I'm using it. So I'm thinking probably further back here in the ravine. Now, this ravine is pretty extensive. It's full of these giant stalagmites, stalactites. I don't know. It's kind of both. Um, so I'll have to tear them out. But I mean, as you can see, this thing keeps going. And if you fly up and over, there's a giant, like, kind of open room that would be really cool to turn into something someday. What that is, I'm not sure yet. But for now, a moss farm. Now, I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put this moss farm. I've got to dig a pretty sizable hole. I've never made one before, and I'm kind of going to wing it. You can't really see it, but in all of this area is where the creepers spawn at to fall down and end up getting killed here. So this is pretty much taken up already. This is kind of close to the base, so I don't want to mess with that too much. So I'm thinking maybe further back here. So I guess I'll get to digging. Something tells me this isn't going to be big enough, but it's a start. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing or how big moss farms need to be, but I'll give this a shot. So, in the process of making this moss farm, I'm fueling up the super smelter and thought it might be interesting to show you. So here it is unloading, and now there's a minecart traveling all the way over to here. It will unload somewhere in here, load into another minecart, which will travel over the furnaces here and load them all up. There we go. And now that minecart is traveling back and forth, feeding up these minecarts until it's empty. And again, this is being filled by bamboo slabs, because each slab will cook 4 items rather than taking 4 pieces of bamboo to cook a single item. So the math ends up working out that auto crafting into bamboo slabs, it's much more efficient. And now that this is finished smelting, all the items should be filling into a minecart and on their way back. This is 16 furnaces, so it makes the math easy to split up stacks into about 4 items per furnace. So, and hopefully this comes back. It's already back. Can I tell you? But I put 2 stacks in. It's interesting that they're not quite back yet. And here it is finishing up refilling. And that's exactly 2 stacks. So in the process of making this video, you'll probably notice a lot of different video issues here and there, like screen tearing and whatnot. Maybe some frame drops. I'm attempting to figure out what's best to keep shaders on, because I mean, frankly, without shaders, it just doesn't look as good. So bear with me throughout, and thank you for continuing to watch if you made it this far. This is where I've made it so far with this moss farm, and I think I actually have it working. It's an absolute spider web of redstone, but in the process of making this series, I've been really trying to teach myself how to do redstone without tutorials if possible. I know the basics of redstone, but I don't know how to make it optimized. But I'm getting somewhere. It's been an effort to try and make more and more farms, make life a little bit easier on me than having to just farm everything. So this is what we've got so far. Got a stone generator here that pushes that stone here with via pistons, and then there's a dispenser underneath that shoots bone meal up into the moss to grow the rest of the bone meal, and it shoots it off into this water stream here into a chest, and it looks like it's being fairly productive. I might have to make a filter at some point to get rid of everything but the moss blocks, and then that could probably help feed the bone meal. But this is where I'm at so far. Quite happy with how it turned out, to be honest. Would I use this for a tutorial? God, no. But it works, and that's good enough for me for right now. I am noticing an issue with these 2 lines here not wanting to be pushed by the pistons, and I'm not entirely sure what the issue is. So I might have to check something out down here. That's the issue. So I had previously made it 1 too wide, so this water is not actually feeding over here. So I'm actually losing a decent amount of attempting to figure out what the fix for that would be, and I think it's going to be as simple. So I removed the piston that was sitting here, and I think the fix is as simple as just putting a block here so that lava isn't flowing to that spot, and then breaking, try to do this without messing up my redstone, but I think it's that simple. That way the water can continue to flow while the lava won't make it that far. Well, that's interesting. Maybe I just need to turn it on and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? Breaks everything? Nah. Oh. That's promising. Can cobblestone get generated, turned into? Apparently not. Alright, let's break that. There's glass to stop that from breaking. I might change my glass texture too, because it's a little too hard to see. Like, I like that it's clear for buildings, but this is just too clear. Well, great. Well, that's working much better now. And I think that's where I'm going to probably wrap up this video. Thank you all for making it this far. Again, I've got lots and lots of plans for this series. The whole plan is to basically fill up this, oh god, fill up this whole donut hole with a city of some sort. Kind of thinking kind of a European, where the roads are like kind of tight together, really densely packed. You can kind of see from the wool where I want the roads to be at so far. Someday I want to put like a giant tree coming out of the ravine here. There's just a lot to do, but hopefully you'll continue on watching us on the server and see how things progress over time. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time. Thanks, bye!